up, my heart is pounding, ready or not, the clock is counting. This is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment. Whoa, I was born for greatness. Oh, a legend in the making, deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. Whoa, come on, try and take it. Whoa, it all comes down to this and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. You know I'm out for blood. I'm feeling dangerous. I just can't get enough. I'm rising up, my heart is pounding, ready or not, the clock is counting down. This is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment. Whoa, I was born for greatness. Whoa, legend in the making, deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. Whoa, come on, try to take it. Whoa, it all comes down to this and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. I am the champion. And know where I'm going. I have been chosen. I'll never be broken. I am the champion. A clashing of titans, a battle of giants. Take a moment of silence. I am the champion. Whoa, I was born for greatness. Whoa, legend in the making, deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. Whoa, come on, try to take it. Whoa, it all comes down to this and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. I am the champion.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Racing to the Weekend number 57. And yeah, don't ask me how I'm doing, you can hear it already. And luckily, we have a great team here with 3 commentators extra in the box today. First of all, Tom Carroll, welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, I would say how are you, but it's a
You're
bit
in my voice,
self-explanatory.
mate.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're not particularly great, but I'm in good spirits. And,
I'm
happy to be
here, I'm
mate.
here. And the second one, he did last week an amazing job with Tom Cowell, of course, but he streamed the whole stream for me because, yeah, I had a party and you can hear the effect of that. It's Remco, Mr. Cracker from the Discord. Hello, mate, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm struggling with a fever, so I'm doing great.
So yeah, we have like a fever, a backache, a person that was awake for 48 hours. The only one who's really on the game tonight, I think, is Tom Carroll. So yeah,
I think
great to
that's,
have these handicaps in stream. So
Yeah, I'm going to say I think that was a desperate time for us all, isn't it? When I'm the only one that's actually switched on. So
so I asked 2 people not to drive today. That's really terrible, to be honest.
it's
Well,
not
that's
terrible
alright.
at all.
It's
I
good
mean,
for the score.
yeah, and I've done a few laps around Spa last year, so I think it's time. If there's any track where I can afford to have a week off, I think it'll be Spa. So we're okay there.
So yeah,
Very good. We keep you on the background. So you'll be pushing buttons and showing us the best content possible. We will be going over the stream and what's happening on the track. Currently, we have 10 drivers. It's 3 o'clock in the morning on a greasy track, 19 degrees, a little bit of wind heading from the east direction.
The thing that gets at me immediately here, Cracker, is looking at the lineup. You can see obviously 10 drivers, as you said, but 7 of them are driving the McLaren. Anybody think it's rather overpowered in this new recent edition of the game, and then quite
It's
clearly
the
you
new
can
Aston. It's the new Aston. It's the new BMW. We now got a period where the McLaren is the car to drive, and we were just talking about it before we went live. We hope the new update brings some new tracks, some new classes, and also a nice new BOP. So we'll probably see a new king of the GT3 class very, very soon.
Yeah, and just whilst we're on the cusp of that, seeing Morten Pielming Jensen on track, he's opted for a change. He started out, racing with me, a good friend of mine, and sporting the number 811, marking his birthday, the 8th of November. However, he's changed to the McLaren in recent terms, and he's slapped on a DSRT livery. He's our new member of our Road to Legend scheme, and rightfully so, out there on track, getting as much experience as he can. I think we'll just leave him on this camera just for a little bit, so as he realises that he's currently in P1, he can take a screenshot of that and be very proud. Not quite the guy that you're going to see near the front of the pack, but obviously gaining that experience and that exposure and that time with the fast guys on track, so he will eventually be up near the front. So it's good to see him there.
Yeah, last week we had a little drive together just after he joined the Road to Legend program, and he was like, I want to get my low fuel motorsport license. I said, let's hop on a server, and took him a few days to get situated. And he wrote me a message, well, I'm almost at the time, now I need to find consistency. So immediately you see the Road to Legend program, you get people to help you out and show you around the tracks and find some pace. And a lot of drivers immediately improve after they join DSRT, and that's where the program is for, and also where we stand for. We are a family and racing together. Currently, he is in the 21th position with 104 points on the stage 1 of the race into the weekend. So actually, he's not doing too bad.
Yeah, he's currently 21st. He's only 14 points behind Robin Austin, a Team Black driver, which I think he'll actually be happy to see. Obviously, Robin only doing some select weeks in GT4s and random cars as he enjoys chilling back and relaxing on a Friday. But yeah, it's good to see that he'll have something that he could possibly claw out and work towards. As we can see, Mr. Gabriel Nibter now joining us in the server, along with Zvonimir Burek, and the McLarens just keep on coming.
Yeah, of course, and Zvonimir probably still eating the pizza before he gets driving, so he will add a little bit of extra weight to that car. That's called a restrictor, pizza restrictor.
We added the pizza restrictors to Zvonimir Burek about, a year ago, it feels like now? He's too fast, that guy, at times, and adding the pizza restrictor brought him back towards everybody else's lap times. So, because here on the lap, we'll talk you through it. We don't have back to the track tonight as I'm not driving, but we're on board with a lap with Wojciech Rebecki. Going to start P8 out of La Source in first gear, using the V12 Aston as he much prefers the sound and the feel of this car. Windscreen wipers are on, so expecting possibly slippy conditions. Very committed through Eau Rouge. Can see him use a lot of that curve on the left hand side just to help rotate the car up over the hump as it goes down towards the chicane at the end of the track, and it's pretty hesitant from him. Want to be braking just a little bit earlier than that. I think he's just still showing off for the cameras. He knows he's on stream and flicked his TC off and probably going to end up in a wall if he's not careful. And there we go.
Oh.
It's always good to see Brutus in the chat, and yeah, quite clearly playing for the cameras there as I was trying to explain his lap time.
Yeah, I think he's testing the tire pressures. It will be very interesting because the track is green. I don't know. The wipers were on, so we might see a little bit of a drizzle.
Yeah, we can see sort of that cloudy. Oh, that's
That's
not
me, no?
quite the line through the double right-hander there. Another person, part of our sort of our team of legends, should I say now, is Mr. Cyril, Desert Penguin, as he's known in the Discord community. And you know, it's very rare that we see him not in a Ferrari, but this recent change to the McLaren that we've seen in this patch for him has really allowed him to find almost like that extra 3 or 4 tenths, and that's always super rewarding to see, especially when he's my teammate for the AOR season up ahead. And you can just see, that McLaren looking stunning in this light.
Yeah, especially with the DSRT livery on. Very well done. And I think, like you said, Desert Penguin is always very analytic about his driving. Tries to extract every 10th, 100, 1000th out of his own driving to perform at his top.
Is it the McLaren Cup tonight?
Yeah, I think so. And I see a few Astons and 1 Bentley. So respect for Wexstrom there in the 64 car, who is always driving the Bentley, very committed to that car. Good to see him again. He is actually in 11th position in the standings as we speak, always a little bit in the midfield, performing quite well. I had a few good fights with Wexstrom, and he's a very decent driver.
He seemed very good at defending when we looked at him. Was it last time out at Paul Ricard or the time before? I can never remember how many racing to the weekends we've had since the last one. But yeah, he was looking very strong and sort of defensive a few weeks ago, maybe last week, maybe a few weeks ago. But good to see him back out on track and enjoying.
We had Paul Ricard 2 weeks ago, and the week before that was Suzuka. I had a good fight with him on Mount Panorama, which was at the start of February. Brands Hatch, Imola, Snellerton, Monza. So that's the year we did so far. Currently we are at a race into the weekend 57. And there are, including this one, 4 stages left before we end stage number 1. So for the stage finale, I have something special in mind, which will be announced on the Discord. Be sure to visit us on discord.me/DSRT and get involved in racing. We have enough spots on the server every Friday for you to enjoy. As we go into qualifying 1.
Rather bunched up towards this pack, as we can see Samuel Lombards just trying to possibly see if he can get past the McLaren ahead of him, and realising a little too late as he goes into the chicane, just backs off and gives himself a bit of space. I think we'll use this opportunity to see if we can give a back to the track and just have an insight into what the driver can see. So going across the start finish line, we can see braking for La Source down into first gear for this corner. Want to really sort of maximise your exit, as we can just see 1 car up ahead. That's not really going to affect Samuel Lombards on this lap, but it's definitely going to be not exactly a nice thing to see as they approach Eau Rouge. Windscreen wipers are off, so you can just see not too much. It's a green track, so it'll be quite a big lift going through Eau Rouge and up past Radion and up through the gears in this V8 Aston Martin as we approach coming into I forgot the name of the chicane, but down into it'll be second gear and clinching third on the apex of this corner, back over to the left to open up your right and down towards Rivage and the hairpin. Unfortunately, that looks like it's just a bit too wide for him on this lap. It might be an invalidated lap, and needless to say, we carry on into first gear of Rivage, open up the corner at the very end and approach down in through No Name. This one, real commitment corner. You can never fully understand just how much commitment you need until you end up trying to take it flat and it never works. Approaching Prelon, a small break and down a change of a gear or 2 as he barrels out back towards the left, the right hand side, should I say, and going down to the final chicane, so down into second gear in this car, and a late apex from both sides. Watch the rear on the exit of the left-hander as he approaches down into double right-hander of Stavolo, I think it's called. I keep on forgetting names, and that's something that really will affect this lap, as he's now got the McLaren of Bjorn van der Overland just sat parked in the way, unfortunately, on this lap in this occasion. Trying to use the slipstream as he now barrels towards Bonchimon, and under normal circumstances this will be completely flat for the left-hander. Likes to run it a little wide on the AstroTurf there and over the curb, as now he comes up to the bus stop. There's a white line across the road, brake as hard as you can and down into first gear, and just keep the car as towards the middle as you can, as you then barrel back on the power and hopefully cross the line. And let's see what this lap time is good for. It's a 2:26.3 as we can see on his relative there, and unfortunately I don't think that was valid on that occasion, but needless to say, he pushes on.
Yeah, very interesting. He kept it in gear number 2 in the chicane for a very long time before going back. So I think he's struggling a little bit with the grip there, trying to keep the revs low. As Desert Penguin in the 717 car just put in a 2:20.5, which is 4 seconds faster than his FP1 time. So I think the track has improved, but as we can see, we have rain coming in 30 minutes, but that will be way beyond the qualifier, as we still have 4 minutes left. Let's see what Nino is doing.
Off track.
I think that was invalid.
Just a little too much there.
You should worry about what Nino's doing, not gonna lie. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god. Okay, everybody clear the room.
Yeah. It's another dead man walking. Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. But hey, you talk about Nino, you need to talk about the men as Vladimir Breck. It's the best man, my love. Let's see what they can do. Not gonna lie, the 225 on a green track, that is really, really good pace. Like, seriously, this is a very good qualifying lap, and hopefully we'll see optimal state for the second or the third race. And we're going to see the 18s popping up surely. I'm pretty sure we will. But as Vladimir is going to set a lap time, this is going to be none other than a 2:21.6. Not bad from the creation, and 3 minutes remaining of the qualifying. I'm excited, guys.
You sound very, very excited.
Yeah.
Just want to throw attention whilst we're here to the one person that could probably try and knock Desert Penguin off that pole position. That's Gabriel Nip, so he looks like he's on for a quick lap at the moment. Let's see what he can do as he crosses the line, and currently goes fastest. 2:20.2 there from him. Always nice to see a fellow teammate of mine and a good friend just ever so slightly prove that he's a little bit faster. And as we get this nice, lovely interior shot of Mr. Nipter, just looking down towards our rouge as we see that now, and on for another lap. He's got probably enough time to do 2 more flying laps, providing he doesn't make a mistake or get involved in traffic.
Are you
Thijs van der Hoorn?
Are you in a plane now?
Oh goodness, something's going on in my background.
I thought Nipta had a jet engine.
What we'll do, boys, is I'm that fast. I've just got a jet engine behind me. So there we go. We'll just push on. Needless to say, Thijs van der Hoorn is a great name.
Tom Carroll, live from the helicopter.
Be honest.
I'm not entirely sure what's happening in my background.
We got it all. We got a racing simulator and flight simulator, man. Both at once. What else can you ask for?
I put on the helicam for you, mate.
Yes, going from the helicopter, we can see Thijs van der Hoorn through
too wide.
Too wide through Radion. But currently looking at the point standings for the race into the weekend leaderboard, and we can see that Thijs van der Hoorn currently still sits top by about 3,000 points. I don't think he's going to be touched this season. As we can see, a good teammate, good friend of him, Stan.
He had a few bad instances, actually. Let me look that up for a moment whilst you talk.
Yeah, I mean, he's not exactly been bang on right at the front in these past couple of weeks as Tice, but it's good to see him still out on track and just gaining those consistent points over the lead and increasing that sort of week in, week out. The only person that could have potentially come a little bit closer was myself. However, I'm in the commentary booth, which, I mean, I wasn't going to catch him anyway.
You're in
It's
a
Tice.
helicopter.
Yeah, I'm in a helicopter. I generally don't know what's happening in my background, but you know, we push on. We push on. I think we're just gonna have to relate to the helicopter shot for the rest of this session. So we've got 30 seconds left in qualifying, and Stan getting very close to another McLaren, which you can never tell because we've got 9 million of them, and making way for him as Stan either goes to set a new lap or is just finishing that one, and well. As I say that, it says a 2 minute 19.7. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, really fast from Stan van der Kullen there. And yeah, the qualifying is still 4 seconds on. And who has a lap on? Mr. Elzinga here then. Maybe the brother of Marike.
Currently set a 2:26.8, a little bit off the pace. And his last lap was probably ridden with a little bit of traffic. He's going to be the first to cross the line. Let's see what the number 69 car can do as it comes through the last chicane. And going to be crossing the line anytime soon. Let's see what lap time he can do. Currently sitting P9. Does he jump any higher? Fortunately not, but there is a time game of about a second. With that progress, he'll be breathing down the neck of P8 in no time. Who's next on the lap? Let's have a quick look. That's the number 811 of Morten Peelman Jensen, currently still set to set a lap time through Blanchimont, and had a little bit of track limit there. He could have abused a bit more, but keeping the car safe and steady as he approaches just a little bit hot into the braking zone there, and looks like he's on for a valid lap time. Let's see what he can set as he crosses the line now. It's a 2:27 flat, so fortunately just keeps him in P10, but it is a valid lap, and that's something that 3 of our drivers have not managed to do now. There's one of me Burek on a lap, and that's commentator's curse if I've ever seen it. It's, I think he abandons it, and Jonathan Markstrom, he's exploring track limits as we approach the second right-hander of Stavolo, and looks like he might be in contention for a lap, I think. I'm not sure if that was invalidated or not.
It's not invalidated. He still has 20 seconds, and yeah, it's on. I don't know if he can make it, to be honest, but he's on the same time that he did the last one. So 2:20.6, around 7:27. So not improving at this point. Now he's.
I think he'll just be able to get this lap in.
No.
No, wow, that's close. Unfortunately, I think he's probably wondering whether he got that lap in or not. I don't think that counted, but we can just see the lineup of drivers as we now go onto a wet track.
Rain.
And it says wet conditions ahead, which is, well, I'm happy I'm not driving, put it this way.
Yeah,
I'd be turning around and I'd be screaming at somebody at this point going, please make it dry.
Let's have a look at the sponsors and the intro, and we will be right back.
At least be able to do the standings.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
We can just see the drivers now starting, and That track is absolutely soaked. Looks like it's supposed to be less rain in 10 minutes, but I don't think it's going to affect anything to do with this race. Stan van der Kolen taking it rather easy, and rightfully so, as they approach the getaway mark, and Gabriel Nips are currently lined up in P2. Where can he go from this race? Don't rule out Desert Penguin and Jonathan Watchram in P4 as Thijs van der Hoorn starts P5. People to watch out for: Nino Burek starting P11 as we are about to go green, and straight away Stan maintaining that lead, too wide through Eau Rouge in these wet conditions is gonna probably end in disaster for somebody, and a rather big wiggle. Oh goodness, there's a lot of cars off track as that went a lot cleaner than I expected. Three McLarens, possibly going 3 wide into this first. Oh goodness, everything's just happening. I'm too busy trying not to react to this. As we can see, Gabriel Nips around the outside somehow pulls that off. That's a fantastic move, and he's currently P1 going through the first sector. And let's just give you a rundown. It's Gabriel Nipton now from Stan van der Kolen. Jonathan Watstrom started 4th upper position past Desert Penguin, who's now in P4. Thijs van der Hoorn holding on to that position. Zvonimir Burek P6, Wojciech Rebecki P7, Bjorn van der Overland P8, and Nino Burek, the person I said you need to watch out for, currently sits in P12. That's Morten Pilman Jensen. Looks like he's been in a bit of trouble with someone with Lombards as the battles still continue. That looks like Wojciech Rebecki about to send one in on Zvonimir Burek, and this battle of about 9 million McLarens, and that's unfortunately that's up. Oh goodness, that's a big hit for Thijs there. And Alsing's
under control, but he lost it.
Yeah, it looks like Elsinger just maybe ran out of road or just grip and not able to stop the car in time there.
Not gonna lie, tires are gold, so you know, one way or another, these people are doing great. Unfortunately, we've seen a couple of incidents, but it's Gabriel Nipta leading the race at the moment, P1. Just behind him, there's Stan van der Kolen, and then there's a Penguin. And this one looks like he nearly went on the wall, too close to the Jesus, how you call that? To the not earth, to the terrain. But we're gonna go now through the bus stop. Oh, Rebecki has lost it. Maybe that was the thing that I was talking about before, because it's all a little bit of a notch, and maybe that was what happened. But we're gonna go back into the front because Van der Kolen might have a good chance of taking Gabriel Nipta on the Camel Straight. Is it gonna wait until then? It looks like so. We go through local right now, turn 1, and now we're heading into Eau Rouge. Of course, one of the most epic corners ever in racing. And let me tell you, Spa in the middle of the night with rain, it looks absolutely stunning.
One thing we can point out and report on is in the Racing to the Weekend standings, currently sat in P2 is Mr. Desert Penguin, and currently sat in P1 is Mr. Thijs van der Hoorn, currently sat in pit lane in P11. So, although Thijs still has a 4,000 million point lead, it won't be as many points come the end of this race should Desert Penguin still cross the line in his, well, either current position or better, as he's now starting to breathe down the back of Stan and a little wiggle just for the cameras, just to show off. You know it's fully under control when Mr. Desert Penguin's driving that vehicle. And the gap's starting to increase. Gabriel Nipta, I think it'd be wrong if we didn't come to Spa, and I didn't mention that he won the Spa 24 hours last year. So relatively experienced on this track, but not in these wet conditions. And I think it's proven a challenge for all the drivers.
Yeah, also very important to point out that Gabriel Nipte is someone who can turn any car on any track state into something magnificent, and that's what he's doing here. He reads the track and makes the run on the outside in the first lap and finds grip somehow where other people are just struggling to get the car around. He always finds something extra. As we see Zvonimir Burek and Beckstrom here.
I believe there was a move there, Cracker. As Zvonimir Burek ran the outside into the final chicane. That was fantastic.
Beckstrom lacking a little bit of pace. against that agile McLaren of the
And it's-
Mr. Burek.
Out of the top 7 drivers, we see 5. Wait, I can't count. 6 McLarens. As you can see, Morten Pillman Jensen in the battle. This is something that he's always wanted to get involved with. It's a nice, clean, friendly battle.
So far,
Something
so
we
good.
haven't seen in the Racing to the Weekend series so far. So let's see what he can do. Defending for his life against Samuel Lambert, and goes a little bit wide at Blanchimont. Going to be breaking.
Getting,
hopefully,
under pressure, yeah. He's a little bit under pressure. Let's see how he performs in this chicane.
oh, he absolutely nails the apexes there.
Actually, he gained that position against Lombard.
Oh, well, there you go. That's Morton doing Morton things then.
Pro commentators.
I was too late, sorry.
It's alright, you were too late and I didn't realise what just happened, so it's my bad as well. We can see the gap up front, still staying about 1.2 seconds between Nipter and Van der Kolen, and Desert Penguin ever so slightly thinking about closing that gap, reducing that gap. The only issue that you run into when you're obviously in the wet is the second you get a bit closer, the aero effects aren't fully as effective, but you end up with a massive load of spray in your face. So rather than keeping it, close and tight like you would see in the dry conditions, these drivers probably electing just for a little bit more space so they can see what's going on the track in front of them.
What are we doing in terms of lap time, Mr. Guru?
Well, the best lap time at this point is set by Stan van der Koelen with a 2:33, but there are faster lap times, but they are all not counted, so they must be off track. 2 minute 32.4 for Gabriel Nipter, Stan van der Koelen has the only purple time, and I don't understand why the standings is not showing that. Normally they see the standings.
Yeah. So you broke the
Oh,
game.
there you are, it's showing it now.
Oh, that's.
I don't know what you did. You switched to him.
Oh, okay, that's the one who normally it shows the one you show and the purple time, but okay. So if I
we
pick
keep
him,
on
it's
going.
purple.
Don't worry, we keep on going. Then we have Sam van der Koelen still close to Gabriel Nipte, as Mr. Maurice Wardenhap said. He has the fastest lap time, only because it was clean. We'll see if someone can beat that time, but for now he's looking real strong. And we go now through the last of the second one. Into the third lap we go. Let me read the chat a little bit. That's Jose, the brother of one. Go F yourself. I've never heard Juan so quiet. George, we need to talk again, but today I don't have to.
We also have to say thank you to Rene Borsche who liked it on Facebook. So
Okay.
As always,
Thank you,
as
Rene
always.
Porsche.
I have
Thank you, Rene.
something new also. Let me test that.
Let's see.
This gap's closing, isn't it, between Stan and Gabe? And
Yeah.
one thing we can say, we got a little stream chat going on. I see it.
What is this hacker? Incredible. Holy sh- Wow.
I see he's been coding in the background, and look what he's come up with.
No, as we see the battle here of Gabriel Nipte and Stan van der Koelen, I did like a chat, but it's only showing one, I guess. But it's more like people from Facebook and YouTube can see the chat as well. Then.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Oh my God almighty, that nearly was a complete set of bowling from Van der Koelen. Thankfully, he was able to save it and not collect the Gabriel Nipte. That was very close.
He's
And
closing
now
in.
we go downhill.
Yeah, he's now not messing around. He wants that position, and I think Gabriel Nipte is smart enough to know when not to give a position, and also smart enough when to give a position. It sounds very stupid that, but hear me out.
It's actually
Gabe will
hard to do,
know
yeah.
when to actually, know that this is probably going to end in a crash or a disaster, and he'll back off. And I don't think he's going to be sensing any of that tonight. It's just going to be absolutely sending it in this last 10 minutes.
I agree with you.
Morten Pillman Jensen, now P9, finds himself just being overtaken, I believe, from Wojciech Rebecki, the 157. Or is he breathing down his neck? One or the other. I can't tell again. But that McLaren getting a little bit of showtime tonight as it gets a little bit sort of squirrely on the exit of Poulon and through the final chicane.
You
One
know why
person
he's
that
not
I-
crashing anymore, no?
I know why
Yes.
you're going to say it.
You know why? I was to say he has a good livery on. There you have it, DSRT, baby.
One thing I do want to say actually is about Morton just before we cut to the rest of the track is just how much effort he's been putting in recently. He wanted to qualify for low fuel, as Kraken mentioned earlier, and ended up putting in about 7 hours practice one day just so that he could try and qualify for it. And a person that you might not see at the top of the scoreboards anytime soon, but the effort and the commitment, it really is there, and that's something that's unrivaled from Morton.
Yeah, but also that's what it's about. You don't have to be like a top tier, super duper quick Gabriel Nipte. Even for people that are, midfield like myself, I'm still enjoying sim racing so much, even though I don't win many races. It's about the experience. It's about having fun together. As FP was, no, we're not going to see a dive down the inside from Stan from the blue there. He's waiting for it, having the slipstream on the Camel Straight. But yeah, it's important that you enjoy and have commitment towards the team, and it will come to you. Look at Eric Mioch, Sebastian Kamsteeg. They've been struggling for about a year, and now they are improving and getting further up the field very often. And I think that's what counts the most. I don't care about raw pace. I care about enjoyment.
Yeah, and he's one extra thing to sort of add on top of that is he's come from a background of playing shooting games, and he was as I can tell you as a good friend of Morton, he was a semi-professional Counter-Strike player at one point, playing for a couple of teams and whatnot, and he said to me the other day that he's getting more enjoyment out of sim racing than he ever did whilst playing those shooting games. And you can just see, with the hours that he's putting in, you can really see the enjoyment that he's getting out of it. And as you mentioned, that's the most important thing that these guys are putting a smile on their face, as the statement keeps on saying that the cars aren't real, but the racing is. So
yeah, indeed. Ooh, so Gipte went a little bit wide there. Sorry, but you
Still
just
good.
switched. Yeah.
It's interesting to see just how many McLarens are following each other. I know we've got McLarens everywhere, but top 6 is now covered, and Nino Burek, having started P11 and finding himself P12 at the end of the first lap, is now currently starting P6. As we can see, a little bit of defensive manoeuvring from Gabriel Nipte. 2 going into it, and it's a good run off the last turn from Stan. Was that a scheduled changeover position just for the benefit of them putting a smile on each other's face, or was that actually a mistake from Nipte? Let's have a look on this replay. See, Nipte currently in the lead in this replay. It doesn't help that they both got the same livery on, and I think he just runs a little too hard on the brakes. And yeah, unfortunately, nice to see that they're keeping it nice and clean. And yeah, Stan walking away, or running away, shall I say, with that position now.
Yeah, very nice move from Stan, and a very nice defending there. Very clean defending there from Nipte, keeping that inside on the chicane, giving Stan a lot of room, and now he will try to fight back. Let's see if Stan, now in the clean air, can continue. Thank you. Yes, I will contact RGB Solutions if I need a website. I will have for at least a discount.
That's amazing.
Bjorn is now currently in P5, and he is getting ever so close to Svanemir Burek. So we will need to keep an eye out on those guys.
That's probably the closest battle on track as we see it. The other one is this battle between Stan and Gabe. Gabe's now not going away and starting to pile the pressure on as we approach the final chicane. Having done the Spa 24 hours with him last year, he was rapid. I mean, we talk so highly of Gabe. He is one of those people that can just get in any car in any conditions and somehow be faster than 90% of the people that you know. And yeah, he was starting to breathe down the back of Stan there, and I think it's just purely because he's sat behind someone and following their line. As we can see, Nino Burek trying to do the same on Bjorn and
Yeah,
starting to
I'm
close
gonna
up that
point.
gap.
Yeah, I'm gonna point something out. Bjorn van der Ouweland is in a very, very dangerous position. This is what we call at DSRT
Oh shit.
the Burek sandwich.
Yes. Oh
Oh,
yes.
it's not the Burek sandwich. We've just seen the Burek drop down, unfortunately, and
Oh,
that's Zvonimir.
oh! Thank God
Oh,
for
man,
Bjorn.
man.
Thank God for Bjorn.
He's away. He's run away from the Burek
Oh,
sandwich.
man.
Yeah.
You
He
just-
survived.
Commentator curse the Port Zvonimir, man. I don't like this attitude, but hey, all I can tell you is I wanted to ask you something. Because if I don't remember badly, before the patch, the McLaren was the best car in the rain. But right now, after the patch, the car looks very stable. Am I being wrong?
Yeah, I think the sort of the recent update brought a lot of stability to a lot of cars that didn't quite have that stability in the rear end, and one of those was the McLaren, which kind of made the ones that already had that rear end stability kind of suffer a little bit, because obviously they're gaining in something that they've already had. And seeing the likes of the Aston, I would have liked to have seen Wojciech
Oh.
Rebecki a little further up and Sammy Lombards as they're
This
in
is
the white
painful.
conditions.
This is painful. This is
This
Thijs
is-
van der Hoorn. This is the leader in the standings, currently almost being overtaken by P1 and P2.
Can I just say he's embarking on something that we speak so highly of the team, and it's our motto, and he's never given up. He's been in the pit lane. He's had a almighty whack on lap 1 or 2 earlier on, and still driving around and gaining that experience for race 2.
Yeah, just finding the right pressures and trying to see what's going on with the car. Maybe make some changes if necessary on the setup for race number 2, as we still have 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go in race 1. But yeah, unfortunately, what it looks like now, it's going to be 1 point for Thijs van der Hoorn and 12 points for Stan van der Koelen.
You see, I can see something that's going to happen. I can see that in the social room in our Discord, the likes of Gabe, Stan, and Tice all in the same conversation. I'm wondering whether Gabe's had a word with Tice here and just trying to get Stan to be held up a little bit as they approach Pontiron, because you just see a little bit of friendly blocking between the two DSRT Team Black drivers, and Gabriel Nipter hopefully going to be benefiting from that.
Blue
can see
flags, blue
Sergio-
flags.
Sergio Perez-esque defending from Tice there.
Let's see if he can make some room there for Desert, for Gabe. Excuse me. They are all, like you said, the liveries are very, very good. But especially when they are on the same car, it looks like one person driving. But it looks so good to have.
See,
all
what
these
makes me laugh so
beautiful
much?
liveries.
It makes me laugh so much that we had the wonderful Marisa and the team develop all these deliveries for 2022, when we had a red one for the Simex Pro side of things, and we had the sort of the black and grey that you see on the likes of Desert Penguin, and that's from the RJB Solutions type of side. But that only helps when we have 2 of the same car. When we have 7 or 8 of them, they're all going to look the same, unfortunately.
Yeah.
As you can see, 3 Simex Pro liveries all going side by side, and Gabriel Nipter having a great little battle with the last car of Thijs van der Hoorn, and made it look easy then, getting past him, and it's almost like Thijs let him past.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit of friendly defending, as we see Waxstrom now in the Bentley having a great exit to the Camel Straight. Let's see if he can do something into the next corner. Maybe getting very close now. Let's see if he can do a little bit of magic. No. I think the Bentley has become a little bit weaker on the brakes.
Yeah, and this is another car, I think, as we were going back with what Juan said earlier about sort of the rear end stability of the McLaren looking like it's even better in the rain. The Bentley was probably one of the best cars in that rain situation, and unfortunately it looks like it's been sort of impacted, but almost in a negative way, as we see Jonathan Watchstrom. Currently P6, he's doing very well, but it's hard to make a car stable when it's already stable, if that makes sense.
I agree with you in every single aspect of what you said. To be honest, I think it actually impacts negatively, as you previously mentioned. But Oh no, we have Elzinga out of the track, but he's keeping it safe, letting everyone by, and then he will rejoin. That's clean and beautiful. That's what we're looking for. Here in DSRT, we have 20 seconds remaining, and it looks like we're gonna have one more lap until the end. It's gonna be real close, but yes, we will have the last lap coming right now. As we see Mr. Vaxstrom trying to fight with Nino Bodek.
That's a brilliant run.
And you don't want to do that with Nino, because Nino is never going to back down. And there you see him. Look at that. It's going to go to the complete
left,
astroturf.
right, left, right.
Yeah, he knows what to do. He's Croatian, he has it inside.
You see, what Nino's done is, I think he's watched the last race of the Formula One last year and saw Sergio Perez defend and gone, that's it. That's the one instance of which I'm going to use as my reference to defend.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Nino? I want to be a Sergio Perez.
Minister of Defense.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. If you wish to be a Mexican, which means to be so fucking lazy, so lazy, my God, at the sad life, man. At least aspire to be Spanish. We're lazy, but I guess we're funny and we're fat, so something else.
I think you Spanish-speaking guys are all lazy. So, but that's a very Western point of view. Let's not get into politics tonight.
Yeah, because then I'm gonna beat your ass. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Mañana.
No, today.
Stan van der Koelen here, having
So aggressive.
on the white, on the white flag, still trying to maximize every little bit of pace, squeeze out of the car as much as possible, and driving those curbs on a wet track. I think that's
I don't
cojones.
understand. I don't understand how they can drive. Well, it's damp. It stopped raining, so maybe that's why they can go a little harder on them. But God, that just having so much oomph, so much, like seriously, they did it all on track here on race one and racing through the weekend. As we see Foxstrom, of course, the Bentley, one of the best cars when we're talking about curves. That thing can eat curves like there's no tomorrow. And we'll see if he's going to have a go at the Nino Burek, because this is last lap.
Whoa!
Oh, the session has ended, apparently.
How? Because we didn't end the lap in 2 minutes, did it? Go.
That's
Cracker.
interesting. Well, this is very unusual because nobody finished.
First time I've ever seen this.
Is that
Because
possible that we had another situation similar to Paul Ricard, in which we only have a 2-minute final?
nobody finished. So
Yeah,
there
Oh,
was no
yeah.
there
Yeah,
was
there wasn't
no
any checker.
no
2
timer.
minutes left. Yeah.
That's something
That's
new.
interesting. Yeah, that's new. I'm a little bit surprised. No ACC bug, says Stan van der Koelen there in the chat. Well,
Well-
luckily we have we have the standings. I'm gonna see what the standings said, and race finish early indeed, Swanemir. So you can have another slice of that beautiful pizza.
We just wanted to stunt to win, and
Yeah, I think
Well-
there was no chance for Gabe there, as he's not looking happy with the emotes he's putting in chat. However, he had a 1.2 second gap that unfortunately I think was starting to grow a little bit. So maybe thinks he could have had a little bit better race, but yeah, I generally think that the standings might not have changed all that much there.
Well, that was race number one. A very interesting finish. We are all really sorry, and we're gonna investigate what happened there. But there was nothing we can do from our position, as the server usually runs very smoothly. And I'm not sure if I can do anything about it concerning the settings of the server. I'm just gonna see if everything is running fine. Yeah, it's still running, but yeah. Okay, well, 3 minutes of free practice left. as we head into qualifying number 2, and let's hope race number 2 we have a decent finish.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Wojciech Rebecki's showing off for the cameras there in that V12 Aston.
Jesus, the third rally here. My God, what a
He knows he's on camera. He tried doing this before, and
look at this.
rather spectacularly didn't end that well. And
Oh my
another
God.
drip on him. I'm just fully expecting him to be in a wall before long. But the talent of this guy knows no bounds. Flashing his lights towards the camera, knows he's on the stream, and yeah, it does, like you say, deserve it. He's qualified for the top split, the PLR Pro Tour. As we have a sign of the commentator's guest, so I'm trying to pick him up and say he's doing it, but he does deserve the limelight at this moment in time. And I mean, anybody who flicks the traction control off on a green track around Spa in a V12 is pretty brave, and
Oh,
you can see
Well
just
deserved.
him running out of talent at that point there.
Too gawky, huh? See, he's Mexican. You see, I told you. This man is Mexican.
So the server did write a proper finish, and I will run you through it as we have 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, and we see the beautiful Aston of Voita here showing off and break it down. So that's a lot of work for Guru tomorrow in the garage. Position number 1 was Stan, second Gabriel Nipte, third Desert Penguin, fourth Bjorn van Ouweland, fifth Nino Burek, sixth Jonathan Wexstrom, seventh Zvadimir Burek, eighth Rebecca, 9 Morten Pieleman Jensen, 10th Samuel Lombard, 11th Thijs van der Hoorn, and 12th Elsinga. So these were the guys that finished in race number 1, and I think that's proper what we have seen, and nothing was more we could do on that very specific situation.
Nice to see Mr. Amfer in the chat just reporting there's Ferraris here. There is another class of vehicle here. And you can
Yay.
see Bjorn going and representing the one car that we haven't seen so far that was probably in the shout for being so good, and he's now representing the BMW class as well. Yeah, well, we've got a few people now starting to drive in different cars that aren't McLarens or Aston Martins, it seems.
I hope so. Let's get the jack out and
I think this is something that we should propose for race 3 is we should get one of the team in, maybe yourself, Remco, driving the Jaguar and seeing how far we can go.
I'm not gonna get in the rig, mate. I feel like a bowl of cereal.
I think that's the issue, is that I've picked the team on the week where everybody is ill. So unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. And unfortunately, speaking of which, I believe that bids Juan good night as well. He's not feeling 100%. He's going to get some rest, and we'll wish him the best from the commentary box as we can see Elson go out on track at the start of qualifying here.
Yeah,
And
no worries, Juan, as he just pointed out in the chat. I'll watch from my phone. Friends, I can't anymore. Very much appreciated. Thank you for joining and having some fun in race number 1.
pussy.
Myself and I and Tom Carroll and Mr. Guru, who is in tip-top shape, will stay here with you all night until race number 3 is finished.
Today I'm Ocho.
Can
see a couple more people in this server here, and always good to see. One thing that's never good to see is Morten Pieleman Jensen off track as he rather safely rejoins and proceeds to carry on his outlap. Looks pretty greasy out on track. It's a lot of rain still coming down, and I think that greasy track might change to a damp or a wet one, so the driver's out trying to get laps. Desert Penguin out into the wall, not looking too great. And who was that very close to the side of him there? Not giving him much room.
Don't know.
These drivers possibly trying to go and set the lap times. Who's out first on track? It is the number 69 of Elsinger that are probably hoping to set a lap time first. watch that name, as he's now probably in the best conditions for this session. Next up there, we've got the likes of Tyson Gabe. I think they've sensed that it's probably best to get out there earlier in the session than later, and probably better for the lap times, as he now goes and proceeds to set a lap, Mr. Elsinger, in that number 69 McLaren. Let's see what lap time he can do.
Yeah, very interesting. He ended up in P12 last race, so I think he got the pressures wrong, or maybe went out on dry tires, hoping that the track would get drier towards the end of the race, but to no avail. As we see now 14 drivers on the current grid, and we'll have to see in a little bit before the first times will run in. It is dry at this point. I think maybe a light drizzle. I cannot tell if the... Oh no, they have the wipers on. This is just
Yeah, it's looking pretty heavy as well there, mate. We probably need one of his wiper checks just to see what's going on at this point, so... It's, yeah, interesting to see for the drivers just how much lock they're putting on and how little grip they're finding out there. I was wondering if Burek just having to... almost being forced to take that line because he has nowhere else to go. Jamie Hotwood keeping it... Oh, I was going to say keeping it out of the wall. Forgot to hold the brakes, I'm afraid, and yeah, just ends up tapping the rear of the car, but a rather big slide at the top of Radion there, and thankfully no other drivers involved, as you can see Elsinger still somehow being able to keep it on the track at the moment, and on a valid lap time at the moment as well, as he's barreling down towards the right-hander Estabilo and onto the back straight.
Personally, in these kind of conditions, I would take more fuel than a normal qualification. Get out, start to warm the tires, and work towards that last lap, you know. But just get in a banker and go quicker and quicker every time, as the tires will generate more heat into lap 2 or 3 when they are in optimum conditions. It takes a little bit longer now with since the 1.8 update to maximize the tire pressures and temperatures. So especially in these conditions, it's important to take a little bit longer to qualify. You know, to give it some time.
Yeah, sorry, I was just about to say these sort of conditions reminded me of almost exactly that. The sort of that infamous thing, I can't remember what year it was, of Michael Schumacher going out for a full qualifying session, and they had almost like an hour session at that point, and going set in 23, 24 consistent valid lap times, where he's taking away a tenth or a tenth and a half each lap. And like you say, go out and get that banker and start working forward, and make sure your tyres are in optimal range and everything, and then work forwards. As we can see, Bjorn now offers rather challenging for the drivers. Gabriel Nipter gonna be setting a lap time, I believe. It's a 26.6. That's really sort of testament and showing just how difficult it is out there for the drivers.
Yeah, I think that these conditions are quite hard. I didn't pick the most easiest conditions, but you know, it's Spa. It needs to be a little bit more of a challenge.
You keep on saying this, and I always feel like Spa is probably one of the easiest tracks to drive. However, driving it consistently and consistently fast is quite often a challenge for the drivers. And you throw these sort of these rainy and unknown, uncertain conditions into the mix, and there's no wonder that we've got a few drivers off trying to find the limits of the cars in this qualifying session.
Yeah, indeed. Like you said, it's hard to be consistent here. But you know, Spa is such a well-known track, so I figured, okay, let's add a little bit of extra sauce to it, as we see Desert Penguin here getting close to the chicane. Hits apex number 1, hits apex number 2 almost. Turns the car on the throttle, very nice to see. Grips and goes quickest with a 2:25.870.
Now that's interesting to see. In race 1, it was almost the opposite way around, where Stan van der Kolen was running away from everybody and Gabriel Nipter was sat in P2, and now we can see Desert Penguin finding a lot more pace in these current situations. Wojciech Rebecki set a 2:30.9, and
Yeah, he's got to change something.
he's got to change something, because it's not like Wojciech to be 5 seconds off the pace there, and probably left scratching his head as he's trying to work out what he needs to improve on. Morten Pillman Jensen looks like he's on a lap as well as he approaches the last chicane.
New end of track.
Oh, looks like he's about to wind up for a lap then, as we can see.
Warming up.
Let's just see what lap time this would have been. I know Morton's not one to back out of a lap, and it would have been a 39.6, so maybe a rather big mistake that happened for him on that lap. So, continues down towards Eau Rouge, does Morten Pillman Jensen, that 811 McLaren, as we can now see Bjorn van der Oberland still struggling with the limits and finding out the curbs are rather slippy in these conditions, unfortunately, as he just explores the track limits again. And
yeah, that's the second time we've seen him in the same corner. Whoa.
Oh, that's not what you want to see to the likes of a DSRT RJB Solutions McLaren there, and Morten Pillman Jensen, I believe, probably just getting up on the curb and struggling with the conditions again.
I think it's really, really greasy seeing these guys going off so easily. I suggest to add a little bit of ABS and a little bit of traction control, and just get in a lap, because if you put in a decent lap at this point, you're certainly 6th. Many guys didn't set a lap yet, and there's only 1 minute to go, so this will be very interesting. Oh, what did you do to the chat box there?
I just
widescreen. Oh.
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 Thijs van der Hoorn setting a lap, P4 now, and
2 minutes
onto
off the pace.
another one. It's scary to see. It's not like the likes of Tyson, Wojciech, and Zvonimir all to be off the pace, but I think they're just in fear of not setting a valid lap time, so they've gone out there, set that banky like you mentioned earlier, Cracker, and hopefully we'll see as this last 30 seconds nears and we get towards the end of the session that everything's going well.
Yeah, here's Jamie Hopwood. Good to
showing
see
off
him.
the crown.
Yeah, showing off the crown in the Ferrari. I'm so glad people still choose the Ferrari. I miss it so much on any grid and on any public lobby. You don't see certain types of car that were very good in, let's say, 1.5 and 1.6. You don't see them a lot anymore, and Ferrari is one I really miss on the track because it looks so good. It's so appealing to the eye.
Possibly one of the best looking cars on the grid, I'd say, is the Ferrari. The only one that comes close to that in my eyes is quite possibly the Nissan. Believe it or not, I'm a big fan of the way that thing looks, and might handle like an absolute.
I thought you were gonna say Brabham.
Oh yes, the Brabham BT62 that we looked at in the pre-show to this stream might be coming to. There is a rumor that it might be coming to ACC. If that comes, just expect me and Remco Sauer to be driving that pretty much everywhere in every competition.
Yeah,
just full time. We will full time Brabham virtual drivers.
Even if it's at the back, just for the looks, I just wanna Jag.
The Jag actually looks pretty nice as well. There's quite a lot of nice looking cars. Sorry, as
we were at the end of the qualifier, and look at that: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers that didn't set a time.
Yeah, 5 drivers that didn't set a time, and the 5 that did have a gap of 2.5 seconds between all 5 of them, which is
huge.
Rather huge and rather spread, as we can see. There's a Penguin going to be taking the pole in that 717 McLaren ahead of another McLaren. Oh goodness, there's 4 in a row, isn't there? Stan van der Kolen P2, Gabriel Nip to P3. Only 2 tenths off Stan though, so I expect that battle from race 1 to continue as we approach race 2. Thijs van der Hoorn, our current standings leader, not at the back of the grid this time as he qualifies P4 ahead of Strom in P5. Elsinger did set a valid lap and rightfully so, jumps up to P6 ahead of Wojciech Rebecki and Zvonimir Burek. Morten Pillman Jensen, the first of those drivers not to set a lap time, and we can just see everybody else there. Nino Burek, Jamie Hotwood, Hendrik Mulder and Bjorn van der Overland not setting valid lap times in those tricky conditions. As we can see, completely dry now for the race.
Yeah,
So
a green track, dry. So yeah, that's good news for the drivers.
6 in the morning.
6 in the morning, indeed. Let's
Yeah.
go to the sponsors, and we will be right back with the race with Tom Cowell, who's leading that again.
right, here we have it. Race number 2, and Desert Penguin this time going to be starting from the pole position. These dry conditions. Expect everything that we've seen in the qualifying session to be completely turned upside down, as we can see Mr. Ramfer in the chat. Apparently doing his best Tom impression. I wonder who that is. And forgetting to hit drive. So here we're starting from pit lane and having to probably lose about 40 seconds down the length of that entire thing. Needless to say, everybody else barreling down towards Eau Rouge as the lights go green and we get racing. We're here for race 2 in Racing to the Weekend, episode 57. Desert Penguin leading on lights of Stan van der Kolen, and it's McLaren after McLaren after McLaren after McLaren after Bentley. So we all, that's something I never want to say again as we all approach down towards La Source. Is it La Source?
Yeah. That's a very clean.
Almost 3 wide of that.
Yeah.
Point. Oh goodness, it's close again, and contact ever so slightly between Penguin and Van der Kolen. Both cars away, leaning on each other, still too wide. Gabriel Nipser wondering where to put his car. He has absolutely no idea which way is faster. As
I'm just gonna stay here.
all the way around the outside from Van der Kolen, he approached no name, and he's. Don't tell me he's had a go at this. Desert Penguin still fantastic driving from these two drivers as they now approach the left-hander and a little bit of leaning from either side, and that's very close.
Oh, they keep each other alive. That's great racing.
Fantastic racing from these two drivers, and Nipton wanting to get involved. Yeah. He goes right the outside of Fanya, and can he hold on to that one? A little bit of a correction from Gabriel Nipton. Sees him just falling back there, and oh goodness, there's lots of things happening on track as I can't fully report. And Stan van der Kolen has just gone, thank you very much, I've got P1 now, let me run away from this situation.
Well, to be honest, it's Desert Penguin who had eyes all over the track because Stan was really aggressive in the inside, and it was Penguin who left the room there. Normally, drivers will close that gap and you will have an incident. So, to be honest, nice battle, but kudos to Desert Penguin who saw everything happening around him.
Yeah, very high track awareness.
That's Jamie Hallwood in the wall, unfortunately. And I believe we saw someone else go wide. Was that Gabriel Nipton that's just fallen back there? Yeah, he's fallen back to P5. Thijs van der Hoorn apparently currently sets the fastest lap time, but disregard that one because lap 1 doesn't really count. 4 minutes 50. We're going to be expecting to go about 2.5 minutes faster than that per lap. So we can now see Thijs van der Hoorn. He's had a good start of it. Thank you very much for the follow as well on Twitch, Mr. Oh goodness. Thank you for the pronunciation. I was gonna struggle with that one.
I'm just gonna guess. Stigin. I just gonna guess. Sorry if I butchered it, but I think it sounds good.
It's probably better than I could have pronounced there, as we continue on race 2, race into the weekend. Wojciech Rebecki forgetting that he's turned traction control off and exploring the limits of the track.
Unlucky. He's not having it today.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it's just not his day, and I think today's sadly one of those. Not one thing you like to see at all. And as we can just see, what was going on with Wojciech Rebecki, and that looks like Desert Penguin that's got back past Mr. Stan van der Kolen.
He got back and he got a little flashy there from Van der Koelen.
I'm just wondering whether they're starting to have a little bit of fun. As we can see, again,
believe me, these guys are having fun.
Massive smile on the face as we cut to the replay of seeing what just happened. Oh, this was just before. Yeah, this was the move was already done at that point, and just
that's why the flashy was. Stan hit him a little bit in the rear, and he apologized with the flashing.
Oh, always nice to see from our drivers, you know.
Sometimes it's hard to see what the flashy means. Sometimes it's sorry, sometimes it's move out of the way, sometimes it's dude, you got blue flags, leave me by. It's always hard to tell. Maybe
and most of the time it's hello friends.
Hello friends.
As we see most weekends when me and Remco are on the track, I proceed to flash him, not to tell him to get out of the way, but just to say hello in a friendly manner. So that time was apologetic, as we can see many battles happening behind, and Gabriel Nipter looks like he's just got past the Bentley of Jonathan Markstrom, and yeah, looks like moved on from Gabriel Nipter's point of view, as he's now barreling down and sets his eyes firmly on Thijs van der Hoorn in that third place car ahead. Let's see Bourne van der Overland in the change of car into the BMW and fighting very well with Elsinger here, and it's soon to be a three-way battle as Wojciech Rebecki's starting to get involved here as the old Procho Rouge. Plenty of space being given between the drivers, and that's something you'll see.
This is going to be an interesting one. Oh, they let each other live. That's
Wojciech Rebecki. That is an opportunistic move of ours. Out of the three drivers, only one made it onto the top of Radion properly without cutting the track there, and many battles happening on track. Very squirrely from Stan van der Koelen at the back there, and managing to keep the rear of the car in check as they now approach Rivage, and many battles up and down the grid at the moment. Cracker, which always great to see.
Yeah. We try to give every battle the best possible coverage, but sometimes it's hard to choose, and we choose for the battle between Stan and Desert. I am talking Rock. Thank you for the follow. I have more problems with reading that one.
It's alright, I was exactly the same. I was too busy trying to read that.
And the problem is you don't like Rock, I do, so I am talking Rock. Thank you very much for the follow.
Thank God we have Guru. What are we doing in terms of lap times on the dry track at this point, Guru?
We have Mr. Desert Penguin then in the first place with a 2 minute 20.9, the official lap time that he did the fastest one. Then in second place we have nobody, because everybody had an off-track time, but it's a 2 minute 21.3. So I think Desert Penguin is creating gaps of 0.4 of a second every lap.
Ooh, as we see Nipter now trying to go around the outside, having the better exit there on Thijs van der Hoorn. Let's see if he can keep it on the outside, so he will have the inside on the next chicane. Yes, he does. Wow, that's a very nice move, and they will go side by side over.
Thijs hasn't given this one up, has he?
No.
Sorry, sorry to go over the top of you there, Cracker. A little bit of a friendly barge between the two of them, and that's barge twice. Thijs is now looks to just be ahead. Gabriel Nipter now side by side as they approach Rouge and Radion. This is going to possibly end in tears for both drivers if they're not careful here. So, a little bit of contact, and somehow both drivers not only make it through, but Gabriel Nipter makes a fantastic worldie of a move as Jonathan Markstrom, and then the absolute run from the Bentley in the straight line speed there sees that's Van der Hoorn losing 2 places, and maybe Markstrom picking up 2 places himself as Gabriel Nipter just proceeds to do his best Formula Drift impression in front of Markstrom there, doesn't he? So
you can leave that to Nipter. He's a very good drifter.
Not only that, but Wexstrom really managed to keep that car off the rear there. Else, I think both would be in tears.
Yeah,
but
it's,
we haven't seen too many tears actually. Everybody is racing very clean and enjoying themselves on Friday night on Racing to the Weekend. Bjorn van der Ouweland struggling with that BMW, but seems to get back to it in the race, finding his pace then. But
what
yeah.
car was he in race 1? He was in the McLaren, if I'm not wrong, wasn't he?
No, he was on the BMW. Oh no, he was in the McLaren. Excuse me.
Yeah, I thought he was in the McLaren, and I think he was still having issues with the rear of the car. So I think he's gone for a front-engine car to have more rear-end stability, and still struggling to find that as well. So you never know; we might end up seeing a massive setup change, or maybe even worse, a car change for Mr. Bjorn as we approach race 3. But
maybe we can
rumor
have
has
a
it.
little
I
look.
mean,
We can have a little look at the 133 car of Mulder. Oh, now overtaking Elsinga there. Don't know what happened there, but it seems we lost Elsinga somewhere in the back. But that's Fourscore World, our Road to Legends driver.
Can I just point out, I don't think there's anybody else quite as knowledgeable about as Hendrik when it comes to setup of a car. This guy knows every in and out and what everything does. He's been helping us out massively. We're approaching the iRacing 12 Hours of Sebring towards the end of this month, and it's fantastic just kind of seeing his knowledge of things going on. And yeah, he's been a fantastic sort of like cog in our work sort of as to how we've got that set up and going, and it's always nice to see.
As the helicopter went off again, I'm going to put it in helicopter view immediately.
I think I've established this. I think my washing machine is too close to my microphone, and it's not directly close. It's just picking up some ambient noise. So we'll go back to the helicopter cam, as we can see Jonathan's Wexstrom here. P4 and still piling on the pressure on Gabriel Nibter, which is it's always good to see. Finding a little bit of pace now in that Bentley, the number 64 car, and Gabriel Nibter probably going to have to start defending the best way he can now as we approach the second half of this race. And still anybody's game, might I add, as we can see plenty of battles still occurring on track, and one that's occurring off track is that one apparently about the bump that happened earlier between Gabe and Tice, according to Ruben in chat, saying that there was much discussion still happening over who was at fault for that bump. But one thing we did see was that both drivers not only survived that, but there was an amazing overtake in the middle of that. So
I think it's I think it's okay. It's okay to get a little cheeky with each other, and close racing always ends up in tears, but nobody went to tears tonight, so they are still all on the top of the field and having a good time. As Wexstrom is now getting closer to Nipte, so Vojta Rebecca here in the Aston P12 as we go to that battle. What I asked for.
Yep,
I'm just going to mute my microphone.
Switching and I had to slow, sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. I'm just trying to keep an eye out on the gaps and the interesting battles on the track. I think the Bentley is doing amazing against 6 McLarens.
Something happened here.
Just have a quick look, and Vojta Rebecca's closing down the gap.
Oh.
Just he forgets to slow down, doesn't he? That was a little potential. Yeah, great awareness from Bjorn there, just to see the car rejoining the track a little bit too fast there for my liking. And
Yep.
that likely,
unsafe rejoin.
yeah, I just want to reiterate that Bentley doing rather well. It's the only one that's managed to beat our top sort of 6 McLarens in that pack of 7. The only other car that's not a McLaren is that Bentley of Jonathan Wexstrom, and sits himself in P4 at the moment, and he's still starting to breathe down the neck of Gabriel Nipter. And as we all know, Gabe's not exactly the slowest driver on track, and great to see not only the Bentley there, but Jonathan Wexstrom fighting position and possibly even a podium.
I think he can do it. I think he has the pace on certain sectors of the track. but he seems to be losing out in the bendy sections.
I'm just beginning to wonder as well, between that, we only saw sort of 2 or 3 very small bumps between Gabe and Tice, but whether that's affected the aero balance of that McLaren ever so slightly. It's one of those cars that you can literally almost sort of touch ever so slightly in the wrong sort of place on the car, and that could really affect the balance of the car. So Gabe may be struggling a little bit with that as well.
If you touch the rear wing, you will be fine.
Yeah, apparently if you touch the rear wing, you will be fined. As we've, I believe that's the Mercedes though. That's not the McLaren.
I forgot. That's another car. You don't see it on the tracks anymore. Just a few guys that are really know the car, but it's not a popular choice anymore. And I think it's a great car to see. I personally don't like driving it because you need to be really, really smooth on the turning and the acceleration and the braking. But still,
it's a car that I very much sort of drove numerous times, and I loved them at the 2015 McLaren. No, McLaren 2015 Mercedes, sorry, and that was a lot more sort of understanding of being thrown to a bit more of a sudden input, whereas the 2020 version and the more recent version I feel is, like you say, that rather twitchy sort of rear end that's never fully stable. And I must admit I've only just changed out of the Mercedes to the McLaren because I found out I'm a bit faster in that car, and I believe there was only myself and Juan who was known to drive that Mercedes in the team anyway. So yeah, it's like you say, it's a car that we don't often see on the racetrack at the moment.
I've driven it on the 4 hours of Paul Ricard actually, and it took me a while to get a hang of it, but I actually liked it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm just going to mute up. I think I'm taking off. I'm not sure what's happening.
It's
Yeah,
quite
you're taking off already, yeah.
It's a very cheap
On board
shape.
from the helicopter camera, we can see Jonathan Westrom here and the people. This is yeah, we're approaching new levels here. I'm just I'll be right back.
I think you need fuel, mate.
Oh, what a stream, what a night.
Oh, God, that's so amazing, to be honest. Yeah, Ruben.
The scary thing is that I've got a fear of heights as well. I'm not sure whether I want to be this high up. So
That's a top 10. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so, yeah, Thomas doing laundry in a helicopter. So, yeah, that's what you hear in the background, and it's on fully power.
Did he use the washing machine as a base shaker for extra reality?
I think to be honest, it's the holy shaker, the holy energy shaker, ladies and gentlemen. You can get holy energy with us with the discount code of DSRT for 10%
that's
off.
the best segue to holy energy I've ever heard. I think we should show that to representatives of just things going on. As you can see the Twitch chat if you want to get yourself some use our discount code. There we go, and get 10% off.
But make sure you get the shaker not for €1, but a more expensive one, else you get this.
Do you want to take off like Tom Carroll? Get your holy energy now, and you will be taking off like him in no time.
One thing I can tell you about taking off though is I can't wait to meet for the DSRT meetup. I will be taking off at some point and coming to meeting you guys in June, which will be an event that will be no doubt having plenty of content and plenty of fun happening sort of that weekend.
Yeah,
we've
take your,
approached a new level. Sorry,
yeah.
I'll mute up.
I hope to that you will bring your washing machine on that weekend, so we can all enjoy that beautiful, magnificent sound and take off together on RGB Solutions Airlines flight 5157 here with Voida Rebecca in the V12, which sounds a little bit different from Tom's perspective probably now. Yeah, another very nice message here from our sponsor, Simix Pro. I've got a X80 myself, and I'm enjoying it very much. So if you want a discount, go and get that rig at Simix Pro. Wexstrom actually losing a little bit of time against Gabriel Nepte here. With 1 minute 50 to go.
Camera sound.
We
Yeah.
we can take Ruben Solly in the production team.
Yeah, absolutely. He was complaining about your mic was a little bit silent. I upped you with 20% in Discord, so that should be okay. Let me know if it is. Oh, who was that? Nipton made a mistake, and now it's Wexstrom behind him here, trying to make the move. But yeah, Nipton, we know he's a drift king and kept the car under control, not losing that position. So that's really nice from him.
Let's see if he can capitalize on that on the Camel Straight, as he has a good exit here. And see if he can get through Rus and Radoyon.
I think I'm on solid ground, boys. I think I've landed. So I think we're okay. Good to see this battle on track happening between Nipter and Wexstrom. And it's been battling and sort of brewing for the past sort of 3 or 4 laps. That Bentley's starting to breathe down the neck as he goes out to the outside line. Could this be the move that Wexstrom's dreamt of for years as he goes around the outside of Nipter? And sadly not on that occasion, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It was pretty close, but yeah, these things happen. As Desert Penguin is really enjoying himself out there now.
As I've been told by my dad that there's going to be another brief flight as we go into the next race.
And this is interesting. We are now at the end of the race, and let's see where Desert is at this point. This is the white flag, so I hope we can reach the finish line. Let's see. Bjorn van der Ouweland is the only one who might be a victim of an early finish.
He's breathing down the neck of Wojciech Rebecki, isn't he? He's piling on the pressure. I think he's realised what happened in the end of race 1 and wants to try and get this move done as soon as possible, as Wojciech showing ways of the Team Black drivers starting to get the elbows out as they're on the last lap here. And we can see Nipter looks like he's just got back past Wexstrom, I think, on the standings there. It was hard to see, but I believe briefly they were up against it, but as we can see, the man that deserves all the credit at the moment, currently set at 19.8 on his fastest lap.
We got a
way
finish.
within his way. Desert Penguin P1 ahead of Van der Koolen. Nipter just holds on to P3 ahead of Wexstrom. Great battle between those two drivers. Thijs van der Hoorn, our standings leader, in P5. Zvonimir getting the better of his brother Nino here as they achieve P6 and P7. And this battle on track between Wojciech Rebecki and Bjorn van der Overland. How's that going to end as they approach the bus stop chicane? Well, it's Wojciech Rebecki being super defensive in a run to the line, hopefully for Bjorn, and well, that's pretty close between those two drivers. Wojciech just jumping ahead of Bjorn there, and yeah, as we can see, rounding out the rest of the pack, we've got Hendrik Mulder, our very own 4-score world in the Discord, just ahead of Elsinger there, and managed to round up top 10. Elsinger, as we just mentioned, P11. As a small gap back to the number 811 McLaren of Morten Peelman Jensen, who's just ahead of Jamie Hotwood at the moment.
Yeah, but he did make up 1 position. He started
always
from
good
pit
to
lane.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started from pit lane, so he probably started about 45 seconds behind everybody. So always good to see that he's making progress in that 811.
Good training.
In P12. Just ahead of Jamie Hotwood, who rounds up the field.
Look at them.
all the McLarens, all of them just kind of summoned together.
I was just too late for that one. I just saw the message. I was searching him, and yeah, just late, but no problem at all.
Now, rumour has it for race 3, Mr. Cracker, I've been looking in the Discord, and it might be time for the Porsche Cup cars.
There was a word going around that we see some Porsche Cup cars. So we will have to see if everybody is gonna switch. We see Ruben Sully in the Honda.
That's another car that you don't see on the grid all that often, do you?
I miss those kind of cars. Oh, and he is gone. So we'll see a few switches as we have 5 minutes of free practice. Everybody grab out another nice and cool drink, a beer or whatever you like.
Do you want me to start up an intro so you guys can get a drink, or do you want to stay in this because I need a drink?
Well, again, let's go to the intro, and we'll be back in a few.
Championship or DSRT official? You or
Whatever you
Charles?
like.
Okay.
Whatever you like.
Let's do
You're
the
you're the
championship.
button pusher.
Yeah. We will go to an intro. We will be right back.
The battle's coming now. The fury shakes the ground. I've come to take my crown. I'm rising up, my heart is pounding, ready or not, the clock is counting. This is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment. Whoa, I was born for greatness. Oh, a legend in the making, deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. Whoa, come on, try and take it. Whoa, it all comes down to this and deep in my bones. Oh yeah, I know I am the champion. You know I'm out for blood. I'm feeling dangerous.
Welcome back to Racing to the Weekend number 57 on Spa. And yeah, we have something special, guys.
Oh, look at that. What a
It's
bunch of
almost
mad
as
lads.
if I was gonna say it's almost as if we mentioned that we don't see the Jaguar on track as I wonder who out of the lineup has decided to sort of form this Jaguar Cup.
Probably Sully. I think Sully.
If there's anybody that would bring the Jaguar onto a Racing to the Weekend scene, it would be Mr. Ruben Solly. And yeah, free practice ending. Not much time for these drivers to understand this car, which is a little bit of a challenge for the drivers,
And also
especially in
it's
the wet
wet.
conditions.
Yeah, it's wet again. So we'll have to see what the conditions are on the qualifying. Maybe it's dry, maybe it's wet. We've got some very interesting conditions going on, so we'll have to see how this works out. Even Wexstrom and Elsinga went Jack, so very nice to see those regular joiners following the DSRT guidelines. And okay, if everybody, why are there so many Jacks? Well, we're just gonna sit in the Jack as well.
Nice to see that one of you has put in the chat that he needs a safety car. Can we have an explanation as to why he's one of you? What's happened? Why do we need a safety car here?
Please. I see Thijs van Hoorn in chat here. Only Jack race with Nipte. Then so Bjorn, yes, please. So yeah, those guys.
Please.
I think we need a safety car, to be honest.
What we should do is
let's ask
future
Matt.
Racing to the Weekend installments is we should get a safety car driver up here in the comms box and go and drive the formation lap and see what on earth would entail behind everywhere as we had collisions on. You can see Stan out on track. I'll tell you something. It was difficult to establish between about 3 or 4 McLarens. 12 Jaguars.
Yeah.
13 Jaguars, sorry. This is going to be possibly the most difficult thing to commentate on in my entire life.
To be honest, that was the one thing I was just wanted to say. Who has the red and who has the grey livery? The RGB is the grey, the Simex Pro is the red. And yeah, let's go through the field with because it's qualifying. It's the warm-up lap. Ruben Solly, I see in the grey.
RGB.
Nice to see. As you can see,
The honor.
there's a few. I think there's a mix. You know, I think there's a mix of
A
Jaguar
few
here.
red ones. Yeah, a few red ones and a few grey ones. So the RGB and the Simex Pro livery both are on the track. Be sure to make a save of this replay when they start because this will look freaking amazing to see all those similar cars starting and driving towards Eau Rouge and Radoyon.
I just want to point out the likes of Morten Peelman Jensen in that number 23 Jaguar. I'm not sure if he's ever driven the Jaguar before. This could be his very first few laps in that Jaguar.
A Jaguar
And,
virgin.
I'm wondering
Oops.
just how many people on this grid actually.
Look at the rims.
Desert Penguin. I wanted to compliment him because the first 2 races he had the DSRT livery on, and now he has a livery with the team. Oops. He doesn't have the livery, I guess.
I think to an extent I want to compliment him for race 3 because it's probably the only one that we might actually be able to distinguish who's who.
Yeah.
Jonathan Watstrom in the not Bentley congregation as well as we saw. And I believe that actual Jaguar car, the number 54, is an actual Jaguar livery in the World Tour, if I'm not fully mistaken.
But just counting, we have 6 grey ones for 5. No, sorry. 5 grey ones, 4 red ones, and the rest is not a standard DSRT livery, so that's nice. So that would be amazing.
Hopefully a little bit of sort of differentiation and the fact that we'll be able to see a few different people and understand who's who on track.
People are
rather
still making
interestingly-
changes to the setups, and you can see the cars going up and down, and they try to understand what's going on with this car as Van der Meer is making a beautiful drift there.
So one thing that
300
I
car.
would probably pass comment on is the Jag is probably one of the worst cars in the wet I've ever experienced personally. It's very rear end happy, and we can see the greasy conditions that were very rear happy anyway. Probably followed on from the second qualifying session of this evening. So yeah, probably going to be even more challenging for the drivers than the second qualifying.
No, that was
To
15
see-
seconds. He's always slow. To be honest, I just seen green, yellow flag. The only one who's in a lap at this point, not too fast, but yeah, that's Stan van der Koelen. He's keeping it on track. Ruben Solly is the one who's behind him. The rest didn't manage until now to set a lap time with the car.
Who's that number
Like,
6 car?
look
It
at
is
this.
Gabriel Nipter. I think he's
He was off
deliberately trying to
This
qualify
guy is
on
off
pole.
track.
I think Gabe's deliberately trying to qualify at the back, but that would imply that everybody needs to qualify. And he's just invalidated his lap time at the end of the chicane as Gabe, and I'm wondering whether that was almost deliberate as well.
Oh,
Stan van der
Let's
Koelen is
see.
the only one who will set a lap time at this point. Ruben Solly is following, so but the rest is all yellow flags. So 2 minute 30. Let's see
What
if
a
Ruben
lap
can
time.
stick it on track here.
Ruben,
we should
possibly.
have added the extra camera for tonight, Guru, because this is going to be one race where you have too little eyes to see what's going on.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know if I still have it.
It's
yeah, I still have the browser source.
interesting to see that Ruben's managed to keep it on track. Probably the most experienced Jaguar driver, as I'm scrolling my eyes through the field of people here. He's probably driven the Jaguar maybe like 2 or 3 times, and I think that's 2 or 3 times more than the rest of the pack here.
The problem is that Ruben was safe, but in the end he managed to mess up the lap. So this is another yellow flag.
Yellows all
Nip-
around.
This is going to be one hilarious race if the conditions
Oh,
continue. As
Jesus Christ, guys.
Gabe set a 10-minute 5 lap time last time out, and
Perfect.
I mean that's a peak performance. That's the reason he's in DSRT Black. He knows how to set a lap time, does Gabe? And
This is a
Yeah.
2 minutes 7 already, and he's not even... Now he's going into sector 3.
looks like everybody's struggling. Morton also off at the moment, as we can see. Quite a lot of drivers struggling, shall we say?
And the car goes up, so there will be more changes to that car.
24. Nino. Still in a... Yeah, not a decent lap, but he's still in the lap.
But Stan van
So
der
you-
Koelen putting in a 2:30.2, that's actually a very good lap.
Very respectable, especially he's in a car that, I mean, I don't know how much experience he's got in that one, but I'd assume very little.
Plus 18 seconds. Wow.
Nino probably just out there just to see what the Jaguar's like. Elsinger not on a lap as Gabriel Nipter looks like he either is on a
Yep.
lap or about to start one.
No,
This one's definitely going to be valid, but he was don't think he was pushing it too crazy. Oh well, if he's not pushing it too crazy, he's got a lot of time in his hands as he sets the second fastest time of the session, a half a second ahead of Zvonimir Burek, who's also started to roll in with the lap times. A lot of drivers now just finding those limits of the cars and being able to set valid laps. So I expect them to all to come in the last 2 minutes of this qualifying
Whoa.
session, as Bjorn van der Ovelen proving that he might need to main the Jaguar as he's gone second. And
He comes from the
Jonathan
Lexus,
Weiss,
so
John.
I'm not surprised.
yeah, it's. I must admit, there's a lot of people in this qualifying session that might need to go and set another lap, because the likes of Gabriel Nipter, you don't often see him outside the top 5, and he's currently sat P6. Zvonimir Burek exactly the same in P7. And we've still got big names to set the laps. We've still got the likes of Wojciech Rebecki and Thijs van der Hoorn still on on track, hopefully to settle up. Great car control from Ruben Solly as he goes over the top of Radion and
That was a great shot.
down the Kemmel Straight, as we can see Desert Penguin behind him also on the lap there. And yeah, these lap times going to be start coming in. Wojciech Rebecki probably going to be the first out of this bunch to set lap. And through Blanchimont now, probably the last place on the track you can get done for track limits, and it looks like he did.
Nope.
What?
That's allowed. That's allowed.
I think I'll be having a word with the stewards because
I think
I
in
definitely
dry-
don't take that line. So
I think in dry it isn't allowed, but on greasy, maybe with a little bit of rain, it's maybe allowed. I don't know, but he's still good. And look at that.
Wow.
Wojciech Rebecki proving
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
proving that he's not a name to be messed around with. I'm also working out for the V12 for you, Brutus, but you've come in the drag and you've set a 227 in these awful conditions. You should be proud of that one. That's a brilliant.
Yeah, but imagine Rebecki told me he was doing Mount Panorama in the wet with the Aston Martin, and he turned off TC because it felt better when he drove without TC.
That's what we call throttle control, ladies and gentlemen.
That's amazing. Nipton
Nah,
not having the
he's
pace.
just braking for the line.
He's want to have some fun. He
He's
doesn't
off
want
track.
to get involved with Van der Koelen again, but it seems they are still quite close.
I just see in the chat that Mr. Amfert, Morten Pilman Jensen, literally could not drive the Jag apparently, so he's had to back out of that, as we can see. The likes of Mr. Willems in the BMW probably joining this and wondering what on earth is going on.
What is this? What is this place?
What have I stumbled across? I've stumbled across 12 Jaguars.
Is this
and
real
McLaren
life?
and seven.
Is this a fantasy?
Well, guys,
Penguin getting very close to the time of Rebecki in the end there.
Yeah, a lot of big names outside that top 5. Gabriel Nipter, P9. That's somewhere you don't want to see him. And the only person that's set to finish a lap here is the person on pole. This is a bit of a showing off lap, isn't it? He gets a chance and an opportunity to hopefully go a little bit even faster.
Yeah, he doesn't have to because he is on pole, but
I mean, this is Brutus. If I know anything about him, he wants to prove just how fast he can go at certain times, and
Jesus. And he can. If
Oh.
he makes these corners right, that's...
right. Let's see what lap time this is. This is possibly going to blow us away, ladies and gentlemen.
This is going to blow you away, man.
2:26.2.
What the
brings-
hell? 1
So-
second.
I just want to point out at the start of qualifying 1, when it was dry, people were setting 2:26s, and in the rainy, greasy conditions, Mr. Brutus Swan, Wojciech Rebecki, sets pretty much an identical lap time. He is indeed an alien.
and look at the predictions on your top right above the Holly Energy and the Simmings Pro logo. We will be dry at this point, and then in 10 minutes it's gonna rain.
So what will be the tactic? Will you put on slick tires and try to make it? Because it could be raining in 7 minutes, could be raining in 13 minutes, in my opinion.
I think we're gonna see a pit stop in Race into the Weekend.
That would be amazing.
It will be
Force them all on slicks.
Force them all on slicks. This is the race director. You're all gonna change to slicks when it starts to rain. Did I just say that?
This would be the brave decision to make, but I think I would start on slicks and not pit. At the end of the day, it's dry now. We know what the conditions are like right at this second. You're not going to know what the conditions are like in 10 minutes' time. So you might as well set up the car and set up your tyre strategy accordingly for the session right now. We also know in ACC, we've seen numerous times in these races into the weekends, that when the rain comes, it doesn't often come that heavy. So I'd opt for the slicks, and I think possibly everybody else had been maybe the odd one or two are going out on wet tyres just to experience what it's going to be like, presumably, to drift around corners.
One thing I forgot was I did forget the sponsor video, but I have great news. RGB Solutions, they announced us that they want to go on for a year, so that's good and great news. Tom, back to you for the race start.
Thank you very much. Brilliant news. Also on form of the track, as we can see, Wojciech Rebecki going to be leading this pack down, and Jonathan Matstrom, he's been in the fight all evening, starting P3 alongside the likes of Thijs van der Hoorn, who's not backing out as they approach Radion, coming up over the top of the hill. It's Thijs just eking out. Now, the Jaguar has immense straight line speed, but one thing we probably won't see is all the Jaguars all slipstreaming off each other as they all approach turn 4, and that's Desert Penguin looking around the outside of Brutus, not quite pulling it off. As they all approach the end of Sector 1, it's Jaguar from... I'm not going to carry on, actually. I'm going to back out of that idea. So it's Wojciech from Desert Penguin, Thijs van der Hoorn P3, Matstrom just losing out. He's P4 ahead of Stan van der Kool and Bjorn van der Overland. Great start from here. He's in P6. Gabriel Nips is up 2 positions into P7. It's Vondermeer ahead of Nino as Morten Peelman Jensen picks up a drive-through for some bizarre reason. I can only think that he went straight on one corner.
No,
Jim...
he was out of position.
Oh, that's unfortunate to see. Oh. And possibly the instigator for this whole thing, Ruben Solly, at the back of the pack, he's got some work to do as this race continues and the likes of Desert Penguins just getting a little bit closer. And it's good to see that the likes of this is happening as Gabriel Nipter looks like he might have dropped back a position there. Yeah, looks like it's one of the Burek's just got past him and he's in the infamous Burek sandwich. Probably want to try and get out of that as quickly as possible and as safely as possible before you get murdered. So, Gabriel Nipter running down the line. Dirk Willems, good to see him on track and nice safe rejoin from him, which is always good to see. Stan van der Koelen going to be breathing now down the back of Thijs van der Hoorn. It looks like Wastrom's dropped back a little bit there as we saw many other actions on the track. A
nice
great
braking.
move around the outside from him. Trying to run into the back. A little bit of contact between the two leaders, and that's opened up the entire field to run through the middle of that gap. And just
That
like
just
that,
happened,
it's
yeah.
Stan van der Koelen in P1. I know it's Thijs, our standings leader. Oh, there was a little bit of a cheeky move from Jonathan Matstrom. He's fallen back now, and everything's kicked off in this at the end of this first lap.
Look how close they are all together, and
Desert
I don't know what
Penguin,
happened.
who, yeah, I believe it was Desert Penguin, just had a little bit of a tap of Brutus, Mr. Wojciech Rebecki there, and I think he slowed down, realising that he made the contact, and, well, one went one way, one went the other way, and the likes of Tyson Stan just ran through the middle of it. So, interesting to see what all these drivers can do.
yeah,
Nice
it
to know
still
that
looks
they're all...
like a lap 1.
It does,
they
doesn't
are-
it? Yeah,
they're
they're all,
still so close.
all incredibly close, and not much between every driver here. It literally is anybody's game. I'm putting my money on Nino Burek at the back of this pack to come forth and take the lead at the end of the race at this rate with the amount of carnage we've seen in this first couple of laps. And
Why not?
who knows, as Stan van der Koelen now finds himself sat in P2. That was a rather opportunistic move, and stuff at the end of the first lap that saw him momentarily in the lead before Thijs had established the inside line there. And yeah, these two drivers looking to run away with it from it all. And Mr. Wojciech Rebecki, Mr. Brutus One as he's known in the Discord, finds himself in P3. So he will hopefully be wanting to move forward with that immense sort of qualifying pace that he'd shown at the start of the race and was starting to run away.
Give him a little bit of time to warm up the tires, and he will be flying. Everybody is still within 1 second. The whole top 7 within 1 second of each other. So that's really nice to see. As Van der Koelen now has the run on Thijs van der Hoorn and manages to take that position back from him. So let's see if Van der Horn now can do something about that on the Camel Straight, having the slipstream in the next few corners and straights. So he goes wide, maximizes the exit, and everybody is in one big slipstream towards Radoyon and Arouge.
This is a rather spicy looking battle between what could very easily be 6 cars towards the end of this race, and a great exit from Desert Penguin and the P4 at the moment as he's breathing down on the neck of Wojciech Rebecki, and hopefully this time a bit of a cleaner move. It's almost like a double move, as we can see Jonathan Markstrom just behind him with Gabriel Nipter going side by side as well as they approach the chicane, and Desert Penguin on the inside, someone else going off wide there, and that's really opening up the opportunity for Desert Penguin to come into the inside. Contact there between him and multiple drivers, should I say, Wojciech Rebecki and Desert Penguin, and I think, yeah, that's very respectful from Mr. Penguin there, just realising that maybe he was at fault there, and
a little bit too aggressive there.
Just a little bit too aggressive, but no love lost between those two as they pursue on, and the battle will probably continue for the rest of this race as Zvonimir Burek finds himself sat behind. Is that his brother just ahead of him? I can't tell. There's that many Jaguars on the track and that many things happening in front of us. That is Mr. Zvonimir Burek and Jonathan Blackstrom behind him, so might actually be Gabriel Nipter just ahead there.
I think so indeed. I'm trying to see what number is on that card of...
Oh, it's the 24. So the 24 is...
Burek.
Yeah, Nino. So Nino's ahead of his brother now for the first time I can see this race into the weekend, and that's an episode of Commentators Gus. As it's one of them just drives from the outside of his brother and just asserts dominance as to which brother's better. And Jonathan Markstrom now finds himself on the back of Nino. Plenty of battles still happening, and we're only approaching halfway through this race as Jonathan Markstrom, good run out, and possibly a couple of spots of rain maybe starting to form. As rain is due any time now, between now and the end of the race, we can just see a few maybe appearing on the camera. And Dirk Willems getting back involved. Nice to see him in PA at the moment, just momentarily ahead of the pole sitter, Mr. Wojciech Rebecki. He dives to the inside and gets the car stopped, and rather close between those two drivers as BMW driver just struggling. And is this going to be... No, he thinks better of it. I thought that was a...
You squeezed him a little bit.
And we just mentioned in the race before about the importance of what flashing the lights means. Well, that one was very much, I think you're at fault, Flash. As Mr. Rebecki now barrels down the back. And
You
probably
always have to leave a space.
You do indeed. The Burek brothers going side by side momentarily there is Nino not happy with the mistake he made. Rain starting to form. And yeah, there's a lot of rain starting to form as what I can see. This battle of, well, I'm going to say 3 Jaguars, which most of them are Jaguars, but nice to see Jonathan Markstrom just sticking his nose on the inside. He's not afraid for a battle. Nino Burek not afraid to sort of be defensive when the time matters, and all that is doing is just allowing Zvonimir Burek just that little bit of breathing room as he now starts to pull away from this pack.
You see that they have the slicks on? Let's see what the leader has, because I see yellow stripes on the tires means they have slicks on, and that's the midfield, the pack that we saw before. As Jamie Hopwood just managed to crush the car into the barrier. But I want to see, okay. Oh, it's getting slippery, guys. It's getting slippery. I see yellow flags coming. Look at the cars.
Oh my goodness, and they're about 5 wide behind as well. What on earth is happening? There's one of me Burek trying to run away from the situation as best as possible, and this battle of
Burek train.
Yeah, this battle of 6 cars now is incredible to see, and probably not going to end in the way that we want to see tonight, as these conditions are going to be proven challenging. The track's just changed to greasy as Thijs van der Hoorn now starts a new lap and starting to breathe down the of Gabriel Nipter, who was a real beneficial man out of that entire pack of what on earth happened. And P9 now finds himself in P2, and Thijs
Bjorn van der Ouweland setting the fastest lap actually.
2:25.2, which might actually stick now that these conditions are going to start getting worse. I think Bjorn will love having the bragging rights, saying that he set a fastest lap ahead of the likes of these incredibly fast drivers that we've got in this pack today.
And still also on a slick tire. I see most of the drivers on a slick tire, so...
I think the track will stay good for a little bit, but as soon as there's too much rain, there's not like a lot of driving on the track. As Ruben Solier is driving very, very slow, so I think he had a little bit of a moment there going through Eau Rouge. We see Nino
And
Burek
it's Nino
now.
Burek. Oh, that's the
Okay.
front.
Case
That's
had
a sad
problem as well.
front there. Well,
So,
Thijs had a problem, yeah. It's...
We will keep an eye out on those little P's behind the names of the drivers in the standing on the left side of your screen.
Not only can we see, sorry, just to go over the top of you there, Cracker. I was just going to say, not only can we see that Mr. Bjorn van der Overland has set the fastest lap, he's pretty consistent up there as well. He was only half a second off on his last lap as well, which in these conditions is a minor miracle. Wojciech Rebecki looks like he's going around the outside of about 17 cars, and
Sorry for the
Burek
switcheroo.
going slow. And
A lot of cars going off now. Sorry for the switcheroo, but always too late for the yellow flag. But all the switches were yellow flags.
well, if you can look on the track map on the right hand side that we use as our reference, you can just see this absolute cluster of cars, and that's the battles that we're seeing, and the cars going off, and Wojciech Rebecki now starting to breathe down the neck of Mr. Willems. It looks like Whitestrom's made a mistake on this lap, and Burek also has, and Jimmy Hopwood, I think he's done the right thing and just parked the car and just decided, I don't want to get involved in this race. I don't want to make a mistake and end up taking out another driver. So
No, he made a mistake, and I think he's repairing the car.
oh, that could be it. That could definitely be it.
Yeah. He made it was one of the first who parked it in the barriers, so I think he's gonna repair and just head out and don't give up and take every practice he can in this beautiful, beautiful car.
One thing probably to pass comment on. Oh, that's not one thing you want to see. I get on very well with Mr. Morton. Known him before he was part of DSRT, and yeah, don't like seeing him facing the wrong way. But he'll get back going and carry on with the rest of this race, the last 7.5 minutes. Just going back to my thought there, the one thing that I'd probably say that we need to pass comment on and keep an eye on as this the end of the race starts to barrel is Mr. Bjorn van der Overland in P4 starting to breathe down the neck of Mr. Thijs van der Hoorn. As we can see, plenty of battles obviously on track, but that's one that you're probably got to keep your eye on is this battle of 3 in shoes, and oh, that's not good. That's an off track, and Mr. Bjorn van der Overland looks like he's been in the wall, so telltale sign of the commentator's curse again.
Penguin overtaking Willems there. Now also close behind Rebecki. Both of them were in P1 and P2, so they are now working back towards the front, so I'm not surprised they are overtaking Willems here. Who is actually doing okay in terms of pace between these jacks, but he's not able to capitalize on the top speed of the Jaguar.
Yeah, one thing we know with the BMW is it's fast through the corners. It might not have the straight line speed in comparison to the Jag. Now, might I point out it has got a pretty good top end speed, but just seems one of my Burek managing to keep it out of the wall there. Yeah, going back to that comment, it does have good straight line speed, but these Jags are just they're called a turbo brick, which basically means they're great in a straight line and not great through the corners. And the BMW, obviously a very competitive car in this current version of ACC, is a little bit of contact between those two drivers, and Gabriel Nipter taking the lead of the race now. And
can we see a replay of that? Yes, thank you very much.
oh
Mr.
my word, that looks like it might have been a mistake for Mr. Stan van der Kolen.
Yep.
Yep, just gets on the power just a little too early, and turns back and finds a Mr. Nipter on the side and a little friendly touch saying hello. And
Again, they have a love tap, so there will be a lot of discussion going on in the social room.
it's
I hope they let each other live.
one thing that's good to see is Stan now probably knowing he's got a little bit of pace over Nipter perhaps, and wanting to use that slipstream to an advantage, and Nino Burek is possibly waiting for his brother, as we saw there.
Reforming the sandwich.
Reforming the sandwich with somebody in. Mistake there from Van der Kolen again, just sees his car just go a little bit wide and the gap form again, and Nipter starting to pull away with this one, and 5 minutes left of this race. It's still anybody's game, and Wojciech Rebecki now breathing down the neck of the recovering Bjorn van der Overland, and this could be a battle that sees to the end of the race, the approach Rivage, and numerous cars still in battles. Desert Penguin still in a battle.
He's again behind Willem, so he did make a mistake. He overtook him last lap, and now he's...
I think these moves are mainly generated from mistakes.
Barry joined there.
That's not a healthy rejoin, and who was that in the wall? I'm afraid I think that might have been Nino Burek, who unfortunately was picked up in that collision. Dirk Willems, he's had a pretty good race. He's been pretty consistent. He's not been in the wall yet, which, believe me, is probably a good thing, and something that a lot of these drivers might not be able to say. And keeping the pace, he might not have the outright lap pace, but he's definitely got the consistency and keeping the front of that nose clean. Jimmy Holtman back out on track, and unfortunately still struggling with the tricky situation and tricky conditions that we've got.
Checking the integrity of the barriers around Spa. Someone's got to do it right.
This is going to be an outrageous move that didn't pull off, and what car control from Bjorn van der Overland.
Both of them.
It's it looks like it was only a tiny bit of contact between the two of them, and just found out that 2 into 1 doesn't go, but immense holding of and great avoidance by Desert Penguin, the 718 behind, and so to be
lawnmower.
Become a lawnmower, and we've got the wiper check, but we now need the lawnmower check, I believe. And that's Gabriel Nipter with a mistake. No. That is very rare to see. Not often that you see Mr. Nipter making mistakes, and
coming out of Radojan, he made the mistake.
Yeah, it's proving that it's now starting to get worse for the drivers as Bjorn starting to explore the track limits a little bit there. And
everybody is trying. Anybody can still win this, so...
anybody still can. I just want to point out that Mr. Guru mentioned before, sorry, Cracker, just before you carry on with that, we had a lot of drivers on slicks, and if you now look at the cameras, they're absolutely soaked in rain, so anybody's game to play for.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of slipping and sliding and lawn mowing and barrier integrity checking. I'm glad DSRT had the opportunity to do this beautiful work on the track tonight. Wow. It's so good when you change cameras and you see a car slipping and someone is catching it. I probably would have lost it a million times.
I think I would have lost it about 25 times at this point.
Exactly.
And
that was a compliment to me. Change cameras and see them slipping.
Yeah,
it's got to be great camera work by Mr. Maurice Bardenhop in the background here.
Good button bashing. As we have one.
Is that Mr. Nipter and Desert Penguin? Yep. Yeah, it's. I'm going off driver numbers a lot here. It's hard to see because there's that many Jaguars on track still currently going round, and Desert Penguin, well, I don't think there's much grip out there, mate, as you approach Ponchimon. And
you saw him wiggling from left to right. Svanemir currently in the pit lane, so I think the car was too broken to continue, which gives Martin Pieleman another position.
Leaders on the final lap, guys.
This is absolutely petrifying. I'm I'm honestly going to put it on the likes of Mr. Nipter that could possibly end up winning this one. It's anybody's game to play for as he approaches the last lap, and Stan van der Keulen currently in
8
the
seconds
lead
out.
by 8.6 seconds. That gap between him and Thijs van der Hoorn, that's extended very quickly. Wojciech Rebecki, he's been in pretty much every position this race, and now finds himself in P3. That's also a good name. And Mr. Dirk Willems, who is, in my eyes, new to the Racing to the Weekend scheme. I've not seen him. Finds himself in P4, having gone round, and this battle on track is currently for P5, and Mr. Nipter ahead of Desert Penguin, and this will probably go to the end, the checker flag, and slipstreaming off each other. It's Penguin to the inside, ahead of Nipter currently, and possibly moved on, runs a little bit deep. Nipter on the cutback, holds it round the outside, and Leno is currently finding the curb on the exit, and another cutback sees Penguin to the inside for Rivage, and brilliant battle as we can see forming here, and probably just about enough space being given between the two drivers. That's a little unfortunate. I think Gabe just got on the power there, and unfortunately with the conditions just didn't have much control as to where he could position the car at that point, and a little bit of contact, just sees Mr. Penguin through for the time being.
Very nice battles, and I think everybody enjoyed themselves in this race, and this is what the Racing to the Weekend is about. Stan van der Keulen now on the final lap. Let's see if Bjorn here on the back of Wexstrom. No, this is Desert Penguin still behind Willems.
I believe Miss. No, that was like Mr. Gabe Nipter. I'm wondering whether they've just Penguins just let him back past just to have a bit more of a fun battle as this race continues, and onto the last straight, sort of the back straight for the last time this evening, as we can see Gabe Nipter just with a couple of car lengths ahead, and one person we've not mentioned all that much about, Stan van der Keulen, getting it all nice and squirrely on the exit for the cameras, and proceeds to win this rather rare Jaguar race here at Spa in this rather changing and challenging conditions. Thijs van der Hoorn proving why he's still the standings leader, finishing P2 ahead of Wojciech Rebecki. Dirk Willems, nice to see him on track. He finishes P4 ahead of, briefly, Gabe Nipter. I thought he was going to slow down on the line then. I was a little bit worried. Desert Penguin in P6. Sorry, I'm trying not to die in the background. Mr. Backstrom, P7, he had a few incidents and a few moments that he probably was looking not to have the fastest lap setter, and I will happily say that, of Mr. Bjorn van der Overland at P8. Ruben Solly, he was right at the back of the pack when he first started, and now finds himself in P9 ahead of Nino Burek, who rounds up the top 10. Morten Peelman Jensen said that he was struggling with the Jag, and unfortunately it looks like he has struggled with the McLaren as well, and a lot of a learning experience for him as he approaches a rather probably drenched track now. And Burek, as we mentioned, probably ended up getting picked up in that collision with Ruben Solly, and that cost him a couple of positions. Unfortunately, he was running well for a while and finds himself in P10 and going
There's
rather
nothing in that car
wide
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that car's pretty much toast. Morten Peelman Jensen, good to see him on track as well. One of our newest members of the Road to Legend scheme, and proving why he's embarking in the never give up attitude. Never see him, unfortunately, at the moment in the sort of the top 5, but driving round, putting a massive smile on his face, and I bet you this race is absolutely loved as he finishes P10. Is it P10 or P11? I think that'll be P11 for him. Yeah,
somebody off left.
But it's great to see, and that will conclude race 3, and it concludes this week's Racing to the Weekend.
Yeah, very nice one. I hoped for more people's, because it was Spa, but we had some nice racing, and especially the last race, very good with the Jacks. Very friendly racing. I think these things happen, a little bit of kisses and nudges, and especially with these conditions, it's really hard to maximize the result and not take anybody out. I want to say thank you, Guru, for having me in the box tonight.
No. All the thanks goes to you guys. Yeah, you can hear my voice in the beginning and now. Yeah, struggling a little bit with with everything. I asked you guys to help me out. You did it, and thank you very much for you both to be here and doing this stream, as I was just the cameraman.
You were very much more than just the cameraman. You were fantastic, showing us replays and cars that somehow magically survived with excellent car control, mate. You've been an absolute credit. As just want to echo what Cracker says. Thank you very much for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And we will see us next week, I guess. Hopefully with a better voice that I can do with myself again. Maybe with some help, okay, of course. But time for the outro. Everybody in chat, thank you very much for watching. See us next week, and bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.